Today I'm delighted to have you with us on Daytona Beach Television. My guest today is the Honorable Commissioner Quanita May. She is the Commissioner for Zone Number 3, and you are tuned in to meet your Commissioner. Welcome to Daytona Beach Television, Commissioner. How are you today?
I am actually, I usually start off by saying I am and just sort of leave it at that point. And Daytona Beach, welcome and thank you. This is always me. You'll always see me doing that. Thank you for having me.
Well, there may be some new person who just moved to town who doesn't know who Commissioner Quanita May is. So tell them, listening, and they have to be brand new.
Oh boy!
Yesterday to the city. So tell everybody who Commissioner Quanita May is.
All right. So I'm a Daytona Beach resident of approximately 18 plus years. I have a business down here. I've lived in Volusia County for quite a while. My business in health and fitness. That's where I started off, and then I was also and still am professional ballroom and Latin dance coach. So if there's music, I'm generally dancing with clients, which I completely enjoy. I like taking them places. And then I'm also a marriage and family therapist, and currently I'm in the first portion of my PhD in clinical sexology.
Oh my goodness. Well, you are well-rounded for sure. So as you look at, let's get to your zone, because you're Commissioner of Zone Number 3. As you look at that zone in particular, what are some of the things that are particularly concerning to you about the zone?
So I will tell you that safety is my number one concern, and the reason is we have an uptick of homeless. It's seasonal for us as well. We're having some concerns with it throughout Daytona Beach. In fact, throughout the United States, we are having concern. It's how to deal with this in a kind fashion that both respects the resident and maintains the rights of the individual. That is an interesting little balance that you have to strike. I'm seeing speeding happen. I know we're a tourist community, and so people are having a good time, but we should have some respect, and should is a guilt term. It's a therapist to me coming out. I would like for people, my hope is that people would have some respect for the environments that they enter into. So obviously if you're watching this, you're interested in Daytona Beach, you love your city and you want things to improve, and we're all on the same page when it comes to that.
And we're going to get back to the fact that we're a tourist town in a minute. But one of the things, let's go to the positive side. We talked about some of the negatives, but on the positive side, what makes you proud to be the Commissioner for Zone Number 3?
We have great parks. And let me tell you what, we have invested some serious dollars into parks. Two pieces, parks and people. Parks and people, right? And I say parks because in my zone, I'll speak for my zone, I picked up the Dickerson Center and newly renovated, so thank you so much, Daytona Beach. And then I also have the Esplanade, and that is a huge endeavor. Everybody is welcome to come to that park. They're going to have great splash pads, fantastic spot, good walking, safe walking, great security there, and it's over a mile long, so it's wonderful. And then also on beachside in my zone, I have Lenox Park, and that's a nice dog park that people don't actually know about. Dog park, it has a basketball court there, children's playground, so I've got some nice parks. But Daytona Beach as a whole, we've really tried to create pocket parks and improve those facilities as well as our community centers, right? So Dickerson Center is fantastic. With regard to people, we have programs like Fun on the Run, which I think is brilliant. I'll be honest with you. If you cannot come to our facility, we will bring the fun entertainment to you in your community. Fantastic programs. So we're doing a lot for the youth in our community, not just sports. I'm academically minded, so consequently, I quite enjoy the fact that the Commission provides dollars and cents to different groups who come to us in the hope that they're going to provide mentorship and scholarship programs and ongoing education. Mayor has a great literacy program. I support that program. Anything academic will help the mind. You'll learn more emotions. And that's where I want people to go. What I'm really particularly enjoying about all of our parks right now is that, again, I like music and I like dancing. So I know Cypress Park has music and they have dancing there. I would very much like to see something like that take place at Dickerson Center. And I've always been a proponent of the phrase Newtown. I'll just say it on air. Let's just take a risk together. Let's just risk together.
There you go.
Right? So I like the phrase Newtown. I would like for Newtown to also have distinctive events. I would very much like to try to do some movie nights. I'm already planning some of that now. I'd like to see some food truck events happen also in the Newtown area. Not everybody has the privilege of having a vehicle that they can get over to the other side of town, to the Cherry Center, which is a great center, by the way. But I'd like to bring some of those things here, like we bring Fun on the Run. I'd like to bring them to the people and make it more of a community. You can walk there. I love walkability. Safe walkability.
There you go. And as a commissioner, your zone is zone number 3, but you're representing the entire city in essence, and many times you are making decisions that affect not just your zone, but other places throughout Daytona Beach. And with that being said, the core of our city, the heartbeat of our city, I believe is our Midtown area. What can you do, because there have been some challenges in Midtown, so what can we do to improve that heartbeat of the city?
So we're doing it right now, right? It's been a constant process of transformation. So Daisy Stocking Park right now is under construction. So there's a concept, right? There's a concept that says that when my environment is beautiful, it's called an aesthetic intimacy. If I'm looking at things that are pretty and appealing, it makes me feel good as a person. If my parks look good, if my community looks well lit, if my environment in general looks clean and well contained, I feel better. And when I feel better, I can do more. I feel motivated to do more. So right now the goal seems to be in Midtown, that's what we're working toward, is improving the general aesthetic of Midtown. But you cannot just do that. A building alone that's painted doesn't quite work, right? You also have to work on the people. And what that means to me is not just provide services that are good, that are above and beyond, which we attempt to do in Daytona Beach, and I believe we succeed. It's to work with what is going on in the lives of the people. And in some parts of our area, it is something as simple as I cannot get to work, the bus doesn't stop here. It's something as simple as my kids don't have enough for lunch or dinner. They go to school, but when they come back, I don't know what they're going to eat. And all of these things together collectively, and this is not just in Midtown. So we have communities that are predominantly white, predominantly black, Asian, Russian. We have so many people in our area, everybody's experiencing it. So from a sense of nutritional safety, from a sense of having adequate supplies so you can take care of your family, all of these impact your environment, right? So every part of the city is starting in a different place. For some parts of the city, it's, oh my gosh, we have a lot, we have a Publix, we have a bridge, we have shopping centers, but we have too many people, and our cars cannot actually make it over bridges because there's too many people, right? In other places, no, there's too much speeding. In other places, too much strangers, we have tourism, how do we manage that, right? So every city, every part of Daytona Beach is so unique that you cannot just say it's one thing, and just because I'm improving a park in one part doesn't mean the park needs to be improved in another part. They might need something else. Everybody in the city has a different need.
You're absolutely right. And so let's get back and segue to the fact that you mentioned that we are an event city. Daytona Beach is we have many events that come in throughout the year, Bike Week and Daytona 500 and many others, and that explodes the population of our
doubles
city.
It doubles it.
And we become sometimes one of the bigger cities in the whole state when these events.
Do you
are
like
happening.
it when that happens?
It is. It's a great thing. So what are some of the challenges that you see that are associated with this huge influx of people that come into the city for a week at a time and sometimes even longer?
So I always have to remind people, part of our city is on a peninsula. So imagine having all these people wanting to come and visit the world's most famous beach, and they all want to see it at least once. So imagine if they all came over the bridge at the same time. How do we manage that? There's only so many people we can fit on the island. There's only so many side streets to get there, right? So on the one hand, I'm balancing residential people who don't like others cutting through, totally understandable. People trying to find different routes to the beach or trying to find different routes to the highway and going through residential communities. So that's when I say safety and speeding, patrolling those areas, super important. With events, and people don't like to speak about uncomfortable matters, but sometimes we have to get accustomed to being a little uncomfortable, right? When we're an event city, as with all major cities that hold events, you're going to have an influx of people who are just transient. So that number goes up. And with that number going up, we have more anxiety among residents because they see it. So it's a combination of things, right? But on the positive, let's go positive. I like strengths. Huge economic impact. People are spending money. The shops are doing well, and sometimes people say it's not about business, and it's not, but those same businesses, they also contribute back into the community when the events leave. They're the ones supporting our city events, supporting our nonprofits. We have different scholarship funds, different outdoor events that take place throughout the city, and it's those same businesses that will then go ahead and support those businesses.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you said you like strengths. You've been commissioner now long enough to see several iterations of the city commission. What do you see as the strength of this current commission that we have?
They know their residents.
Okay.
They know exactly what their residents want. And they're willing to say, and this is what our residents want. We cannot all get what we want at commission at the same time unless it's a common goal. If it's a unique goal to my particular community, it may not impact the others. Right? So there's a function of a group vote, and that generally is something that's going to affect all of us.
Yeah.
And then there's things that I need specifically in Zone 3 that are unique to Zone 3 that I have to hope that my colleagues say, okay, it's impacting them. Yes, that could potentially happen to me too. Let's go ahead and go down that road. That's the hope. So each of us know the people in our zone well. We know what our zones have done over a period of time, and that's interesting.
Yeah. So I want you to look into your crystal ball and tell me what you see for the city of Daytona Beach as we move into the future. Are there challenges that we face? Are there things that you would like to see happen?
It's called solution focus. Look into my crystal ball and tell me what you would want, right? So here we go. I would very much like to see the universities involve themselves in the year-round, when they're in session, activities of Daytona Beach. Because there's a population of people there who could use restaurants, who could have their own events, who could still use all of our facilities and mill around the city. I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see a demographic start to come up that's maybe in their mid-30s, because so far we've done a lot of people over the age of 65. We've done a great job. They're very happy. But we've got to start thinking again a little bit more, and then they're going to stay. What's the next generation that's going to stay here? So I want to kind of get working on the universities. I've actually picked up Embry-Riddle. And so I'm quite happy with that. I'm looking forward to that. And then I've also picked up Campbell and Turie T. Never had them before. I was involved with them, but I never had them in my zone. So I'm quite intrigued to work with them. I've already created partnerships where the electric vehicle, you'd like this, the electric vehicle team from Embry-Riddle, I think it was last summer, went to Campbell. And they spoke with the kids. They've been going all through the schools and just showing them this is an electric car. And I thought that was great, connecting them that way. So I'd like to do more of that sort of community connection. But in general, I want the students, Bethune-Cookman, Daytona State, Embry-Riddle, we have Kaiser, we have Palmer, all of these schools, they're younger. I'd like them to start having more events geared to them.
And so I'm going to jump off of my notes because you touched on something that's intrigued me. We're known as the world's most famous beach, but what I don't think a lot of people across the country know is that we are a college town. We have a lot of colleges and universities, and that's a lot of brain power. So how can we kind of harness some of them to stay here? At the end, they matriculate, and some of them go other places across the country. How do we keep that brain power in Daytona Beach?
Okay, so we have different groups. We have Team Volusia, and Team Volusia is a conglomerate of businesses, department heads, but people who are in all aspects in Daytona Beach. And they go out and they find different corporations to bring to Daytona Beach to start businesses there. I think they're a great avenue. They have the ability to reach and bring mega corporations here that will allow the young people to stay. But here's the question, transitional life cycle, right? Do people really stay here when they graduate?
And that's the challenge,
Right? So we're actually getting young people who are coming here from other places. It's their transition from, let's say, Indiana. That's who we're getting. And the people who are here naturally are going to want to do what? Leave home. They're supposed to do that. But we're also attracting the families from other cities here. So it's a bit of an exchange, right? We're not always losing, we're gaining as well. And so if their life experience, their day-to-day, they have a nice apartment, right? We're building apartments on Beach Street area. We're building affordable apartments as well, which we can talk about affordability. We're building. We're trying to bring these products here, mixed-use houses, right? Market rate, some not market rate, all over the city. That is, we need to be able to provide that. And that is a huge challenge, not just in Daytona Beach. I was just in a meeting with about 12 to 15 other elected officials from across Florida. We were dealing with affordable housing issues. And it's a challenge for everybody.
It's a
but we're
big
ahead,
challenge.
meaning we're actually doing quite a bit right now to entice people to stay. I mean, wouldn't you like to stay someplace that you're thinking, I can actually save some money?
Absolutely.
Daytona Beach has that. As long as you like the outdoors, right? So if you like parks, if you like the ocean, if you like a little bit of serenity, and then when the people leave from the events, you have calm and quiet, it's a nice mix. And it's not in a big city, it's in a smaller environment. So it's kind of interesting. You get to choose what you want to engage in.
Right.
And you have quiet time. If this was a big city that was 24 hours all year long, for many people that would be very stressful.
Oh, absolutely.
So we get breaks.
Yep. Now, as a therapist, you deal with people's moods. I mean that the nice way.
My favorite topic.
You deal with moods. So what would you say is the current mood of Daytona Beach? Where are we as a city?
So I think that when I first ran for office, I would walk around the areas, and my therapy self was picking up depression. And I was trying to put my finger on what is the depression about. I would speak to different people all over. There was a sense of we're not getting what we want. We want certain things, but we're not getting what we want. For some people, it was just a sense of, and when you ask people, generally, you say to somebody, what do you want? They can't tell you. But if you ask them, what don't you like? They can tell you.
That,
but to build a vision for a city, we have to have an idea of what we actually want to accomplish. So I think that what's happened over the past 2 years would be that we're doing things that are extremely visible. So if I do something that improves your life, but you don't actually see it, but it is improving your life incrementally every day, but you don't see it, does it count? But if I build something, you see it. If I paint something, you see it. It feels as though we're in the process of showing, right? We're saying, okay, take a look at this. We're giving you parks. We're giving you better services, right? We're improving things that actually touch your life. That's how I'm seeing it right now. I'm feeling, is it optimism or it's cautious? It's cautious optimism. How's that?
Okay.
It's cautious optimism.
like
It's
that.
wait and see, show me, right?
Yeah. There's two sides to Commissioner Quanita May. You have your private life, which involves your work as a therapist. You're attaining your PhD.
That's pretty public. I mean, that's something you have to profess. It's pretty public.
And then you have your public life as a commissioner,
Which is more reserved.
So, and that's the question: how do you balance the private life of Quanita May and the public life of Quanita May?
What I've learned over the course of 6 years so far, has it been 6 years, 5 years so far, 5 years, has been that there's very little divide at times. There's very little divide at times. And that makes it very, very challenging. And so, there's the I'm going to just say, there's the luxury of having a lot of family members around that afford you a level of protection, let's say in the community with conversations and whatnot. I don't have that luxury. I have me. And so when I walk into a room, I have to walk in with me. But I did that intentionally. So when I first ran for office, I realized that it's a slippery slope. People will say things, they will do things, but I still encourage you to run for office. If you can stand alone and stand strong, run for office. We need people like you. So you have to be able to do that, and I could not put other people in that position. I didn't want to bring other people with me into that, because if you're going to say something, it's going to be about me. It's not going to affect the people that I know and love, etc. So that's been the interesting part of the personal and the public, and oftentimes the population, they don't actually see the difference. They just put it all together. So that means, given that's the game we're playing, when I enter in as politician and therapist. I assess. I'm like, what's going on here? What are we really talking about here? So when you're having a conversation with me, I'm going to say it truthfully to the camera, it'll be a conversation of truth. We will be truthful with each other. People need a space, otherwise everything becomes pathological.
Yeah, yeah, so true. We have a mainland and we have a beach side.
Yes.
One of the gateways that gets us to the beach side is the EISB corridor. We're hoping for some improvements to that area of town. Give me your thoughts on that corridor.
Long time coming, right? So I remember, I had a mild something or other when they told me that to redo the corners, just to landscape it temporarily, was going to cost quite a few thousands of dollars as placeholders for the street renovation. I'm glad it's coming. It's a combination of many different agencies over a long time, and we are not the only city vying for dollars.
Yeah.
There are 16 other cities in Volusia County. They all have issues, and we all are trying to get to the best position to improve. So we're always competing for those scarce resources.
Yeah.
I'm happy it's coming. It's going to be an inconvenience, but before transformation can take place, sometimes there's some agitation, a little disruption has to happen. We get a bit uncomfortable, and then we see a change. So hopefully everybody can work together and kind of weather the storm. Weather the storm. I threw you one.
You did. You did. Well, Commissioner May, thank you so much for being with us today, and I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did.
I always enjoy chatting with you, and I much prefer interviews that can be honest and truthful, and we can actually get to know the person. I'm always a very willing ear. I'm a great listener.
Well, thank you for the sacrifice you make on behalf of the residents of Daytona Beach. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
You've been watching this segment of Meet Your Commissioner with Quanita May, Zone 3. Hope you enjoyed this segment. Keep watching. We got more stuff coming. Love you. Bye-bye.